Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today for this video. Today I'm going to talk about or give instructions on how I fill my Minimed insulin pump. I believe it's a G670. I don't remember. It's this one though. I used a similar Medtronic pump about 15 years ago. I think it was a Paradigm, but it used the same inside internal supplies, so I would think that this would apply to most Minimed pumps and maybe other pump supply companies as well. I don't know. This is the only pump I've ever used. So this Medtronic's the only pump I've ever used. So I'm going to talk about how to fill your insulin reservoir with a pen versus a vial. This was brought to my attention the other day. I was on the Beyond Type 1 app, and somebody was talking about how they used to use pens and they were now changing to a pump, and they went to buy their insulin in a vial and it was less units of insulin and a higher price. And I said, just fill your pump with your pen. And somebody else wrote and said, how do you do that? And so I'm here to show you how to do it, because before I did it, I didn't know you could do that either. So times have changed, and now I haven't used a vial for about 8 years. I wasn't on an insulin pump for about 6 years, and I was just using pens. And when I returned to using a pump almost a year ago, I asked my doctor for a recipe. No, I'm speaking Spanglish here. A prescription for a vial. And she said, no, you don't need a vial, you can use a pen. And she had to show me, so here I am to show you. Okay, so usually I do this in the bathroom where I have a clean surface, or sometimes I just stand at my refrigerator if I'm getting a new pen out and fill my reservoir from the refrigerator just standing up. But for videoing purposes, I am at my dining room table, and I have cleaned the surface as well as my hands. So everything's been cleaned, I'm working with a clean surface. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna prep the area the same as you would with a vial. Okay, of course, if you have a needle tip on here, you're gonna have to remove that. I usually take an alcohol swab, but I like to save those for traveling if possible. So I do have a bottle of alcohol here, and what I'm going to do is I am just going to put some alcohol on that cotton swab and clean the tip. Okay, I've got 2 different types of pens here. Here's one with a needle on it. Okay, so I've got my regular Humalog, and then I have a junior, because if I take a pump break, I want to use an insulin pen with half doses. So I'm going to use this one because it's lower, so I believe this one's older. So here we go. I'm going to clean this off. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and open my reservoir, and I'm going to prime the reservoir like you guys always usually should before a regular pump site change. Now what this does, if you don't know, is this kind of lubricates the inside of the tube, so you don't have any resistance when your pump is pumping, because you don't want that to happen. Okay, so just as you would put this onto a vial, this does fit on. Now this one, the junior, is a little bit trickier, but it works just as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up that needle, and it takes a little bit of practice. You'll find that soft spot in the middle, and you just click it on like that. Okay. Okay, so you could see it, you could feel it's not completely secure. I mean, it's a tiny bit loose, but there's a connection there. It's a tight connection. The needle is inside. Now, I'm gonna turn it over, yeah. And just like you would with an insulin vial, you would turn it over. The different thing about filling up from an insulin vial compared to a pen is an insulin vial, you would probably pump some air into the vial and then either pull out manually or let the pressure from the vial fill the reservoir. And here you're going to do something a little bit differently. You are going to crank it all the way up till the maximum, and then you're going to slowly push down on the plunger here, and it will start to fill. So let me see where the camera is. So I'm going to slowly push down. Okay, and you can see there's a tiny bit of insulin in there. Now I'm using this junior, so instead of getting 30 units in there, I'm only getting 20, and it's a half a click. So I'm gonna have to do this many times, and I might even have to change to the other pin that I have here. So I'm gonna do this 3 or 4 times until I get the desired amount, just by turning. Okay, so I'm out of this insulin now. So I'm going to disconnect from here, okay, and set this aside for a second, because now I need to prep this one, and this one has a needle on it. Let me take this off, and I will deposit that in my Sharpies bin later. Okay, take a little more alcohol here. Clean off the tip. Okay, I am going to, this one's a little easier to get in, but you kind of want to feel around for that soft spot. Okay, and click it on. Okay, so where am I at here now? Sorry, it's time for a pump change, and I don't like to put too much insulin in my reservoir because I'm a stickler about changing my pump every 2 to 3 days. So I'm clicking it up again. I don't think I need the full amount because I'm pretty close to where I want it. And I'm slowly gonna push down on the plunger here, and it's gonna fill. Okay, so that's about where I want to be. Maybe a little bit more. Ooh, that camera angle isn't very good, I'm sorry, but you could see that the insulin has gone in. So I will disconnect. Okay. Then you're at the same position as you would be with filling up your pump. You're gonna wanna tap your bubbles, get that out before you disconnect that. So I'm just gonna put that aside because I am gonna go change my pump in just a few minutes after I finish this video. So now with this, what I like to do is I'll put that in my bag for if I have a pump malfunction, and with some needle tips, yeah. And that one I will use if I have an emergency, or the next time I fill my pump, I'll use this one because I don't want my insulin to get old. I don't want to have 5 active open pens in my refrigerator at one time. So I tried to completely use one pen before I start with another pen. I had 2 pens going at this moment. One to show you that if you run out of insulin while you're filling your reservoir, you could always pop that one off and put on a new pen, no problem. And the other reason is because I went on a pump break last week, and I always like to use pens that have half units. It takes a little tiny bit of practice to get used to finding that little soft spot in the center, because the soft spot on a pen, if you could see, it's a lot smaller than it is on a vial. But it just takes a tiny bit of practice to get it, and then it will be second nature, just like anything else. So I hope you liked this video. I hope it helped you. For anybody that your vial of insulin is the same price as your pens, no problem. But those of you who are finding that vials are more expensive than pens, just know you can fill your reservoir from a pen. No problem. Okay, good luck. Thanks for watching. Like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.